Leadership in uncertainty, navigating crisis and complexity. Today's world demands a new kind of leadership. Disruption is constant, complexity is rising, and crises are no longer rare. This course is designed to give a comprehensive overview of what it takes to lead effectively when the future is uncertain. Whether it's guiding a team through a pandemic, navigating market upheaval, or adapting to technological shifts, leaders must embrace ambiguity with confidence and clarity. The traditional rulebook no longer applies. Instead, leadership is now about agility, empathy, communication, and the ability to inspire in the face of the unknown. This course will explore the evolving role of leadership in high-stakes, fast-changing environments. We'll identify core challenges, introduce practical frameworks, and help you build the capabilities required to lead with resilience. Through real-world insights, you'll learn not just how to respond, but how to lead transformation in the midst of complexity and change. Course overview. This course explores how leadership must evolve to meet the demands of uncertainty. We begin by understanding the changing leadership landscape and examining why traditional models fall short in dynamic, complex environments. Next, we'll uncover the key challenges that arise in times of volatility. Challenges such as ambiguity, pressure, emotional contagion, and loss of control. Then, we'll introduce 6 essential leadership capabilities that help navigate these conditions effectively. These capabilities include clarity of purpose, adaptive thinking, emotional intelligence, decisiveness under pressure, strategic communication, and empowering others. Throughout the course, you'll also learn to apply these ideas through practical frameworks. You'll see how these tools can be adapted and used in real-world scenarios, whether you're managing a team project, responding to a crisis, or leading organizational change. By the end, you'll have a clearer understanding of your own leadership journey and how to grow into the kind of leader today's challenges demand. Introduction: Why leadership matters in times of uncertainty. Organizations today face unprecedented challenges, rapid disruptions, unpredictable shifts, and relentless complexity. These factors demand more than traditional management. They call for leadership rooted in agility, empathy, and purpose. In times of uncertainty, leaders cannot rely solely on having all the answers. Instead, the goal is to build the capacity to respond, not react, with resilience and presence. That requires learning to navigate ambiguity while staying grounded in core values. Historically, leadership models assumed stable conditions and clear pathways. But that's no longer the world we live in. Today's leaders must be comfortable charting a path even when the way forward is unclear. They must help others feel safe in the unknown and make meaning when things seem chaotic. Effective leadership is now about guiding others through the fog, making confident, compassionate decisions while keeping teams aligned and focused on what matters most. Why uncertainty demands a new kind of leadership. Traditional leadership was built for stability. It focused on structured problem-solving, incremental improvements, and perfect planning. In contrast, today's world is nonlinear, volatile, and ambiguous. This shift demands a new approach. Adaptive guidance replaces rigid control. Instead of planning once and executing, leaders must iterate, experiment, and pivot. In this context, confidence comes not from certainty, but from clarity of purpose and the ability to adjust quickly. Conditions change fast. Information is often incomplete, and outcomes are harder to predict. This volatility challenges leaders to embrace change and make progress despite imperfect data. Agile responses become more valuable than perfect plans. Leaders must guide their teams through uncertainty with transparency, confidence, and flexibility. They must create structure without rigidity and momentum without needing total clarity. Success comes not from avoiding uncertainty, but from developing the tools and mindset to lead through it. Core challenges of leading in uncertainty. Leading in uncertainty presents 4 core challenges. First is information overload and ambiguity. Leaders are inundated with data, but the signal-to-noise ratio declines, making insight hard to extract. Decisions must often be made with incomplete or conflicting inputs. Second is high stakes, compressed timelines. Urgency dominates. The pressure to act quickly can lead to mistakes, while delays can amplify panic and drift. Third is emotional contagion. Fear and stress spread rapidly in teams. Leaders must manage their own emotions while projecting calm and stability. Fourth is loss of control. Carefully laid plans get disrupted and resources become limited. Leaders must let go of trying to control everything and instead focus on what they can influence. Each of these challenges requires a different mindset and tool set than traditional leadership. By learning how to face them directly, leaders can turn uncertainty into a proving ground for resilience and growth. Challenge 1: Information overload and ambiguity. In uncertain times, leaders face an overwhelming flood of information. Yet having more data doesn't always mean better decisions. The real challenge lies in discerning the signal from the noise. As the volume of data increases, clarity often decreases. Leaders must make decisions without having a full picture, trusting their judgment and core values to fill the gaps. It's not the absence of information that's most dangerous. It's being misled by too much irrelevant or conflicting data. This environment demands discernment, prioritization, and the courage to act despite ambiguity. Leaders must learn to ask, what truly matters right now? What's noise, and what's actionable? Being able to pause and filter through complexity is a skill that separates reaction from thoughtful leadership. Developing that judgment, while staying open to new data, is key to leading effectively in the fog of uncertainty. Challenge 2: High stakes and compressed timelines. In crisis, speed becomes critical, but speed can also be risky. Leaders face compressed timelines where urgent action is needed, yet a wrong decision can do significant damage. Waiting too long can be just as harmful as moving too quickly. The pressure comes from all sides: time constraints, financial stakes, stakeholder demands, media scrutiny, and safety concerns. Each factor adds weight to every decision. In this environment, leaders must balance action with deliberation. They need to move quickly without being reckless, acting on available data while being ready to adjust as new information emerges. The key insight is this: in a crisis, the right decision made too late becomes the wrong decision. Effective leaders accept imperfection and focus on what's good enough to move forward now. Then they iterate. Clarity of values and purpose helps guide decisions even when timelines are tight and consequences are high. Challenge 3: Emotional contagion. During uncertainty, emotions can spread faster than facts. Fear, anxiety, and frustration ripple through teams and organizations, often amplifying confusion and paralysis. People look to leaders not just for direction, but for emotional stability. That means leaders must first manage their own stress and anxiety. Emotional states are contagious, and when a leader stays grounded and composed, it helps the entire team feel safer and more focused. Psychological safety is essential in a crisis. It allows teams to ask questions, raise concerns, and offer solutions. Leaders can't fake calm, but they can practice emotional regulation and self-awareness. They must also recognize and validate the emotions their teams are experiencing. Empathy doesn't mean having all the answers. It means showing up with presence, listening deeply, and guiding with care. When leaders meet emotion with empathy and steadiness, they create a strong emotional foundation for navigating through uncertainty. Challenge 4: Loss of control. Uncertainty often means losing control over plans, resources, and outcomes. What worked yesterday may not work today. Strategies must be revised constantly. Resources become stretched thin. Forecasts become unreliable. Leaders must adapt by focusing energy on what they can influence and letting go of what's beyond their control. This shift is difficult, especially for high-achieving individuals who are used to driving results. but trying to control the uncontrollable leads to burnout and frustration. Effective leadership in uncertainty starts with redefining control, shifting focus to actions that build stability and momentum in a dynamic environment. By identifying their true sphere of influence, leaders can make better use of time, energy, and attention. Accepting unpredictability isn't weakness, it's wisdom, and focusing on where change is possible leads to more meaningful impact. Letting go of perfection opens the door to clarity, innovation, and resilience. 6 capabilities of uncertainty. Ready leaders. To lead effectively through uncertainty, leaders must develop 6 core capabilities. First is clarity of purpose. In complex situations, a strong sense of mission and values becomes a compass. Second is adaptive thinking. Leaders must shift from rigid plans to flexible experimentation, using feedback and rapid learning to guide their next steps. Third is emotional intelligence and empathy. The ability to understand and manage emotions, both one's own and others, is essential for maintaining trust and cohesion. Fourth is decisiveness under pressure. Leaders must be able to make timely, values-based decisions, even when all the facts are not available. Fifth is strategic communication. In crisis, communication must be clear, consistent, and frequent to reduce fear and align teams. Sixth is empowering others. Leaders must encourage ownership and distribute decision-making, unlocking the intelligence and initiative of the full team. Together, these 6 capabilities form the foundation for resilient, responsive leadership. Capability 1. Clarity of purpose. In uncertainty, purpose becomes an anchor. When external conditions are chaotic, internal clarity provides stability. Leaders with a strong sense of purpose help their teams stay focused and united. Every action should connect back to the why, the deeper mission that guides the organization. That's why it's essential to filter distractions and stay aligned with core values. When decisions are grounded in purpose, they become easier to justify and explain. This also reduces confusion and builds trust. Even during crisis briefings or emergency updates, leaders should link back to the organization's mission and vision. This reinforces direction and helps everyone move forward together. Clarity of purpose doesn't mean having a detailed plan. It means knowing what matters most and using that to guide action. In complex times, people need not just instructions, but meaning. Leaders who provide both create stability amid turbulence. Capability 2. Adaptive thinking. Adaptive thinking is the ability to shift from a fixed mindset of plan and execute to a dynamic approach of test and learn. In uncertainty, traditional long-range planning often fails. Instead, leaders must use scenario planning to explore different futures and prepare flexible responses. They must also rely on fast feedback loops to adjust strategies in real time. Adaptive leaders are not paralyzed by changing data. They pivot confidently, knowing their direction is grounded in purpose. A useful mindset is strong opinions, loosely held, make bold decisions quickly, but be ready to revise them when new evidence appears. This combination of decisiveness and humility is powerful. It signals confidence without rigidity. Iteration becomes the norm. Risk is embraced as part of learning. In fast-moving environments, the ability to adapt faster than the environment changes is a competitive advantage. Leaders must cultivate this skill to stay ahead of disruption. Capability 3. Emotional intelligence and empathy. In crisis, emotional intelligence becomes as important as technical expertise. Leaders must manage their own fear and stress while supporting their teams through emotional volatility. Empathy helps leaders connect with people on a human level, especially when tension is high. The ACK framework, Acknowledge, Connect, Keep Moving, offers a practical tool. Acknowledge emotions openly. Don't ignore them. Connect with empathy by validating people's experiences and showing genuine concern. Then, keep moving with purpose, turning emotion into positive energy for action. Leaders should also listen actively and communicate transparently. Sharing hope while being honest builds credibility. Emotional intelligence is where heart meets mind. It's what allows leaders to be both strong and compassionate. In a crisis, people follow leaders who care, not just those who are competent. Leaders who create psychological safety empower others to speak up, stay engaged, and move forward together, even when the road ahead is uncertain. Capability 4. Decisiveness under pressure. Great leaders don't wait for perfect information. They act with the best data available now. In uncertainty, speed often matters more than certainty. The cost of inaction can outweigh the risk of a wrong step. Leaders must make time-bound, values-based decisions and be prepared to adjust quickly if needed. Communicating the rationale behind decisions builds trust, even if outcomes aren't guaranteed. The question to ask is, what's the next best move we can make right now? This forward-leaning approach keeps momentum and reduces paralysis. It also helps teams feel less stuck. Leaders who model decisive action, even when admitting uncertainty, signal strength. They show that it's okay to act without full clarity, as long as the intent is grounded in purpose. In high-pressure situations, decision-making becomes a muscle that improves with use. Practicing it early and often helps leaders prepare for when the stakes are highest. Capability 5 and 6. Strategic communication and empowering others. Strategic communication is essential in times of uncertainty. Leaders must share updates frequently, even if little has changed. The absence of communication creates anxiety. Use clear, honest, and calming language, and always explain the why actions are being taken, and what they mean for the team. A helpful formula includes 4 parts: reality, what we know; response, what we're doing; reassurance, what we believe; and request, what we need from others. Alongside communication, empowering others is critical. Leaders should involve their teams in decision-making, especially at the front lines. Encouraging initiative, experimentation, and shared ownership activates the full intelligence of the organization. Ask questions like, "What are you seeing?" and "What should we try?" This creates buy-in and fosters continuous learning. In complexity, no one person has all the answers, but by combining clear communication with distributed leadership, organizations become more adaptive, resilient, and innovative. The crisis curve. Leading through 3 phases. Leading through uncertainty involves more than just reacting. It means guiding teams through 3 distinct phases: react, recover, and reimagine. In the react phase, the focus is on stabilizing the present. Leaders must ensure safety, maintain operational continuity, and communicate frequently with decisiveness. In the recover phase, leaders adjust strategies and roles, reassess resources, and re-engage the team in adapting to a new normal. It's about rebuilding capacity and aligning for the medium term. Finally, in the reimagine phase, leaders look ahead. They identify long-term shifts, innovate new workflows or business models, and reinvest in purpose and people. This is where transformation takes root. The crisis curve reminds us that disruption is not just a danger, it's a window for reinvention. Leaders who move through all 3 phases intentionally position their organizations to emerge stronger, more agile, and more aligned with the future. Finding opportunity in uncertainty. Uncertainty is often viewed as a threat, but the most effective leaders understand that within volatility lies hidden opportunity. When the environment shifts quickly, weaknesses and inefficiencies become visible. These moments shine a light on gaps in processes, communication, or decision-making. But alongside these weaknesses, new opportunities also emerge. During periods of pressure, hidden talent often rises to the surface. Individuals may step up in unexpected ways, revealing capabilities that had previously gone unnoticed. At the same time, systems that are rigid or outdated are forced to evolve. This push to adapt can streamline operations and lead to stronger, more resilient frameworks. Perhaps most importantly, bold innovation tends to flourish when assumptions break down. The failure of old models creates space for new thinking and fresh approaches. As the quote emphasizes, leaders who embrace uncertainty, not as a threat, but as a catalyst for evolution, are the ones who create lasting, meaningful impact. Conclusion: lead the path, not just the people. In times of uncertainty, leadership is not just about guiding people, it's about shaping the path forward. Teams don't just need instructions, they need clarity, courage, and meaning. They need someone who can create a sense of direction, even when the destination isn't fully visible. Great leaders become sense makers and purpose givers. They stay grounded in mission, make bold moves amid the fog, and help others navigate change with confidence. They hold the long-term vision steady while adapting the short-term route. The essence of leadership in complexity is being the person others trust to walk into the unknown with them. You don't need all the answers. You need presence, integrity, and the ability to create clarity. The real measure of leadership is not control, it's trust. And when leaders lead with purpose and heart, they multiply that trust and capability across their entire team. Reflection and discussion. Navigating uncertainty is a defining skill for modern leadership, and it starts with self-awareness. Begin by asking yourself, how do you typically respond to uncertainty? Do you freeze, avoid, or act decisively? Your natural reaction has a direct impact on your team's confidence and sense of direction. Recognizing your instinctive patterns can help you lead more intentionally under pressure. Next, evaluate your crisis communication. How clear, timely, and consistent are your messages when situations escalate? Effective leaders don't just react, they communicate with purpose. Consider what aspects of your messaging need to be strengthened. Are your tone and timing aligned with the needs of your audience? Do you convey stability and clarity even when outcomes are uncertain? Finally, think about how you can empower others to lead through uncertainty. Distributing leadership creates resilience. What specific steps can you take to build confidence and capability in others? Take time to reflect individually, then engage in group discussion to transform insight into action.